a lot of very supportive people in the audience who are all willingness to work. And I think 3 years in, I think our experience shows, and we had a great program and a really engaged audience. So happy days, really. I mean, you can hear from the sound behind you that they're all pretty engaged. So I'm pretty delighted with it.
Really excited to be at the conference today because I can ask questions as an exhibitor, but I can also ask questions as a content creator. The only place I could really do that.
I think it's great because it's a melting pot of all the global exhibitors and content partners that we do business with every single day, but we don't often get to connect with them on a personal basis. So to be able to put names with faces is really important to us, and to build that connection and build that relationship, and to be able to do it in one day under one roof.
Obviously, when you're doing business, there's some stress also about invoicing or a product that didn't receive well, or yeah. So you talk to one another face to face, and that's better than always on your email.
We're trying to get to all sessions because it's very important for us to learn more about new trends of alternative content, such as games in cinemas. And on the other part, for me personally, it's very important to learn something new and more about marketing. So all sessions are very interesting, and we hope that we get new information for more results for our Russian partners.
Coming all the way to London to spend one day meeting and talking to colleagues here, it's so important for me because these are the people who are going to innovate in this area, and through whom we are going to make tremendous progress.
You know, I really look at this as more of an experience share where we can all get together and vet ideas and share what works, whether it's in the US or if it's in Italy or some of the other territories that we're not really familiar with, because the way we market this is not like marketing a film. And so we all have a collective interest in making sure that event cinema survives and thrives across the globe, and it's great to walk away with other learnings from territories that, you know, we may not be able to talk to on a regular basis.
To meet all of these people in the one place at the one time, it saves me a month of running around doing meetings, which is fantastic. And I also had the opportunity to bring my team here with me, which is a real treat for them because they work this stuff in, day out, and then to come down here and meet all these people and find out where the industry is going is really useful.
Yeah, I really enjoyed hearing about the social media side of things, actually. That was fascinating. I think it's a part of the industry that the audience is probably a step ahead most of the time, more than we are. And as an exhibition anyway, I'm talking as an exhibitor, which I'm not, but I think sometimes that the industry is occasionally a little bit slow to react, and we're now in a situation where the consumer is driving it, and we are having to react quickly, which has never happened before. It's always been the other way, and the consumers have to keep up. So we're at an interesting crossroads here, and that was a really interesting way of revealing that to the audience, and I think they were all really receptive to it. So that was fascinating. And I liked hearing about George Wood's Lunar Cinema project and how he has managed to transform venues, and his attendance to these venues is increasing, and as a result, he's driving loyalty to his cinema project, and it's kind of having a knock-on effect. So that was really interesting as well. They were all interesting in their way. So.
Just some learnings. You know, I went to the gaming conference and I learned how it's doing very well in other territories, and we have yet to really crack the secret recipe here in the US. So it's really learning what others are doing and what's working and sometimes what's not working, so that we can all learn from those mistakes as well.
We work in a very big industry, the entertainment industry, the film industry, and sometimes get lumped into that industry, but in reality we're a much more niche industry, and the ability to come and talk to other people who face our same challenges worldwide, who have seen, you know, awesome successes worldwide as well, and learn from them and what made something successful, or you know, what we could do differently, or, you know, maybe they can take some learnings from us of what we're doing in the US and it could work in the UK or Australia. Just that ability to network with the whole community was what I was really looking forward to.
come into this industry, I would probably recommend that you manage your expectations and the expectations of your investors, because it's a slow process, and I think it takes time to build up your reputation and your audience, and you need to understand the craft of distributing and marketing event cinema, because it's unlike anything else.
I think the key is for distributors to look at the individual markets and work out what works in those spaces. Developing markets, they don't have the arts culture that we have over here. They have a much more popular culture. So when you look at things like football games and gaming and anime, that works much, much better. A fantastic example, Cinépolis in Mexico just showed the Mexican games as part of the Brazilian World Cup. They did 745,000 people in their cinemas, in 1,000 screens. And when you look at some of the arts content, which is getting 10,000 people, it's not difficult to do the maths and go, this is what is working.
Finding the right content, it's a very unique recipe that has to go into making an event really successful in our world. And so you have to have the lead time, you have to have the marketing, you have to have these rabid fans, because often our lead times are 30 to 60 days. So whereas feature films are working a year or two out and they can really build the marketing and advertising and audiences over a long course of time, for us it's such a short period of time that I think that you really have to have everything, every element of success come together to really make a successful event.
Joining ECA at the beginning of your journey is probably the best way to avail yourself of all the toolkits that we have available, the data, the reports, the handbooks, and so on.
I think the biggest thing that we love right now is having access to data at our fingertips. So when you go to the ECA website, you see the weekly posting for RentTrack, and I can say, okay, this is how this event did in the US, but how's it trending with the rest of the world? So to me, that's very valuable. It's very valuable to see who the other members are. Like I said, we often have phone calls, but we really don't know who's behind the voice. And it gives us a chance to really understand and some of the profiles, who those members are and what they do and what they contribute to our business.
Being a member of the ECA, to me, helps me meet like-minded people. I get introduced to colleagues all the time, and I think it's very important right now to come together. There are too many people in our industry looking in the rear-view mirror, and we need to be innovative. The ECA promotes that type of thinking, that critical thinking and innovation.
What's a little bit different about the film industry, or from the film industry, is that in the film industry, the studios are working directly with every single exhibitor. They're grassroots, on the ground, year long, just sort of worldwide. They have these budgets. They just have so much going on, and I think with the ECA and Event Cinema, you really have to have just like a team of people who are so passionate about what they do, that don't have that same level of resource, but that can just really, they just want to do the grassroots approach and just really dig in, roll up their sleeves, and just, you have to have that level of passion for what we do.
I'm really encouraged by what I've seen today. That everything seems to be, in terms of our organisation of the event, it seems slicker and more organised, and I think it's a sign of our maturity as an association, and I'm hoping that reminds the members of the value that they can get from being part of this, that we have plenty to offer and plenty of expertise, and we know what we're talking about. And I'd like to think that from the future that the industry starts to mature itself even more. We're not even a decade old yet. There's so much left to accomplish, and there are so many genres that haven't been exploited yet. So I think there's plenty to do, and I don't think it's ever going to get to a point where we've covered it all. We could do these conferences for another 10 years and still have plenty to talk about, because the world's changing so quickly. So yeah.
Live events is changing people's lives in our community. We've got older people who actually say to us, this has changed my life. I now see an event every week. I'm retired. I never thought I'd be able to be in Berlin one day and be watching the Bolshoi the next day. And so really it has made a huge difference to our community.
We're excited. We're excited. We're looking at all these fellow pioneers, and it's really inspirational to be in a room with everyone who's really passionate about what we do. and who really is, at the end of the day, really concerned about bringing consumers back to movie theaters.
In the United States, across the 40,000 some odd seats, 99% of them are empty Monday through Thursday. This is the largest amount of excess capacity of basically any industry in the free world. And so it's important that we figure out how to monetize these seats. Event Cinema can do that.
What I personally love is doing events where you have an audience who come along who love being part of that collective experience. So I mentioned, we've done some anime projects. We did Dragon Ball Z. For years and years, anime has not had an opportunity to be on screen. So we put it on screen. The feedback we've had from fans has been phenomenal. A lot of them coming in dressed up in their favorite anime characters, being there with other fans and having an amazing collective experience. So all the feedback we've had is fantastic. And as a result of that, we've got another 6 or 7 titles that we're going to be distributing in the anime space. I think also when you look at gaming, that's coming through in a big way. We're doing some stuff with Coca-Cola and Riot Games at the moment. And again, you can see this stuff online, but actually they want to come to the cinemas and have this kind of collective experience.
We've seen how the larger companies using technology are distributing, and the price of technology is coming down, the know-how is getting stronger. We've got some very good filmmakers on our team who know how to make really beautiful films. So getting them to start working on how they can create content to distribute elsewhere also will change the model for our venue and for our enterprise. So it's quite exciting having a shoe in each camp.
I think it's going up and up and up. And if you look at the last 3 years, how far we've come, and the industry has grown such a lot. I sort of see the growth of the industry doing this and the growth of the ECA kind of mirroring it, really. I think we're doing all the right things as an industry to grow, and I think networking events like this can only help to make the whole industry prosper. So I think it's just more of the same, bigger and better. I can't see a point where this is going to level out and start to peter away. Certainly not in the short to medium future. I can't see that happening. So onwards and upwards, really. It's all good.